Hey guys, it's November 2nd, it's the start of a new season, and also the start of the 2017 year for competitive Hearthstone. So I've been MIA for the past 2 months or so, and I need to get back on top of my game. So I decided I'm going to share how I'm going to do that with you guys in a video series on YouTube, as well as on Twitch. So today I want to share the best way to improve as a player. And the best way I learn is by taking the time to review my games. Spending an hour reviewing my own games is worth about 10 hours of just spamming games on the ladder. There's a lot to look at here, but here's a quick rundown. So the first thing we want to look at is mulligans. Mulligans are kind of tough to give an overview on because they differ for every single matchup that you're going to play. However, there's a lot of matchups in Hearthstone now that are very tempo oriented. Here's a few things you can kind of do to improve the mulligans in those matchups. Before every game, you should ask, what are your opponent's first few turns are going to look like, and what they're likely to play on turns 1, 2, and 3. You keep cards in your hand in your mulligan that are going to help you counter that curve. After the game, you should ask, what did you keep in your mulligan? What were you looking for to win that matchup? And the cards that you kept, were they useful or were they too reactionary? Were they played later on in the game? You want to keep evaluating the cards that you keep, what's working and what's not, and it helps you build an understanding of matchups. Next thing you want to do is make sure that you're reviewing your tough turns. And this is something that Life Coach in particular is very revered for. Oftentimes if you're watching a Life Coach stream, he's spending more time reviewing a game, the important turns in those games, than actually playing the game. An important thing to do here is when you're stuck on a hard turn, just take a screenshot of it. Take a screenshot of it, save it for later, and you can review your options without the rope going down. When the game's over, look at the different decisions you could have made and look at how the game would have played out with each decision and try to find an optimal play. This way, the next time you're in a similar situation, you won't be freezing up again. The last thing I want to talk about is matchups. Make sure you know who's favored and who's unfavored, and keep this knowledge very up to date. With every expansion and meta shift, matchups are going to change. Part of becoming a better player is understanding that. Know when you're the underdog so you can make those risky plays that potentially win you a bad matchup. And also, know when you're favored so you can play around cards that would otherwise let your opponent swing the game back in their favor. So I would recommend downloading something called Hearthstone Deck Tracker. It's an extremely powerful tool that helps you with each of the points I mentioned in this video. The in-game interface can help you with the mulligans. The replay tool helps you review your games, keep track of those hard turns, and also helps you correct some misplays that you might have been making. It also records all of your games, so it helps you understand the overall matchups as well. I know I've covered a lot today, and it's meant to be a broad overview. I'll be making videos breaking down each of these points that I made today and how I would approach them. So stay tuned for those and hit the subscribe button.